Kia ora tātou, welcome back to the Wargaming Den. Another game of Kings of War for you this week. Second game of my Abyssal Dwarfs, again taking on Gordon's Twilight Kin. We're playing at 2300 points. The mission we're playing tonight is Raze. A few changes from last week's army. I've downgraded the Black Souls just to a regiment. They've still got the Hammer of Measured Force and the Throwing Dogs, and they've also got the Fiery Bulwark, which gives them D3 Iron Resolve if they passed a nerve test. The Decimator Horde with the Blessing of the Gods is still there. The Abyssal Half-Breeds and Grotesque Hordes are still there. Just one mutated Mastiff Pack this week, and it's got Throwing Dogs. I've painted up 2 troops of gargoyles this week, so I thought I'd try one, see how it goes. Still unsure between the Mastiff Packs and the gargoyles. I know the gargoyles have range 10 and can get up to all kinds of shenanigans if you know how to use them properly, and that'll take a wee bit of getting used to for me. So I'm at this stage maybe experimenting with one of each with the chaff units there. And I've also added the Hellfane, and he's got the Hellforged Overmaster, so he inspires, and I think he gives a 2-inch wild charge to dwarf units. To go with my kind of demonic Chaos Dwarf allied list, I've made mine out of a 3D printed demon from Avatars of War, which I got printed at twice its normal size, so it's a bit more imposing, and it looks kind of cool. I've painted that up and really happy with it. Ironcaster with Fireball and Diadem of Dragonkind. Fireball 18. If I can get in range with that, hopefully something's going to die. And I've succumbed and decided maybe I do need to learn how to use spells properly. I've added a Hexcaster. He comes highly recommended from the Countercharge Abyssal Dwarf army review. He's got Hex, Weakness, and a Conjurer's Staff to give him a reroll, and 2 half-breed champions. One's got the Blade of Slashing, 13 units, 23 unit strength. Okay, Gordon's list is the same as he ran last week with the 2 Fleet Warden Hordes. There's 2 Bound Butcher Hordes. They're kind of a staple for his Twilight Kin. 2 Impaler Hordes. One's got the Scrying Gem, so I have to put more units down at the beginning. Bound Mind Screech with Lightning Bolt, Mind Fog, and Wind Blast. The Void Captain. 2 Summoner Crones with Weakness. 1 Soulbane on a Nightmare. I think it's got a Trickster's Wand, not 100% sure on that, and a Bound Void Lurker with a Mead of Madness, so it moves a bit faster. 12 units, 24 unit strength. Let's have a look at tonight's table. The mission we were playing is Raze, so we each put 3 objectives across the enemy's deployment zone on the 18-inch line. So I'll put one on the hill, one in front of the wood, and one in front of the pond here. Gordon was very clever with his. He went second. He stretched one way out here. There's one 3 inches from the far side out on the right hand side as well, and the third one was there. And this one in the center, we both get to fight over. I don't think it can be moved. Maybe it can. Can't quite remember. But these loot counters can be picked up. I second guessed myself during my deployment though. Gordon had the Scrying Gem, so I put 3 units down. I was planning on having the Decimators over here so they could just go into that difficult going and then start shooting from there. But in the end I decided maybe we could march up onto the hill. So I ended up splitting my force and going very, very wide. And that's probably what Gordon was hoping I was going to do. I had a mobile wing of half-breeds, a champ and grotesques. A centre of my infantry with the Hellfane there to support them. It's got a missile attack as well. And actually this is a demon model that I painted up this week to act as my Hellfane. I want a kind of a demonic Chaos Dwarf alliance feel to my list. And then out on the other side, half-breeds, because there was good going through here in the hill, and then the grotesques are quite good through difficult going. Put the gargoyles behind the grotesques. They're height 2 versus height 4. I thought they'll be fine back there. Won't be a problem. However, turn 1, the crone popped up here, and we'll see what happened from there. As you can see here, Gordon was a bit more clever than I was. He put his Mind Screech, which is height 4, behind the Void Lurker and behind the wood, so there was no way that I could shoot that. So in hindsight, gargoyles here, even though I thought they were hidden behind the grotesques, would have probably been better off behind these grotesques, behind the forest, because then they wouldn't have been in anyone's potential firing arc on turn 1. But you live and learn, as the old saying goes. And Gordon is quite strong across the board. As per usual, he tends to keep, doesn't always, but quite often he will keep his 2 units of the same type together. Like he's got a strong centre of 2 Fleet Warden hordes with the Void Lurker able to swing around into a flank, and then over here he's got the Butchers, and out wide he has his Soulbane, who can, I think he gets 7 attacks, so 14 from the flanks and stuff, so acting as kind of security and also a threat on that side. And these Impalers with their front defense of 6 can be quite hard to manage as well. So there we have it. That is our deployment for this game. Tonight's mission is Raze. So the Twilight Kin are arrayed, ready for battle. The hero, the Butchers, the whatever Wardens, Fleet Wardens, the Flying Monster, and there's a spell card, a Mind Screech hiding back there, and then the 2 units of heavy hitters, the Impalers, I think they are. My Sado grotesques with my new things behind them, and then we've got half breeds here, the decimators with mastiffs behind, my new Hellfane figure. I'm using a demon, some black souls with the hammer of measured force, more pretend grotesques, another half-breed champion, and last but not least my other regiment of half-breed / bull centaurs. And finally, just a look from one end of the table down the length of the table. Very nice looking mat. This is one of my favorite mats of Gordon's, actually. It comes up really well in the photos, and I really do like, I've said it before probably, his new basing is awesome. Just the glitter in the resin molds that he's made. So the Butchers, I think, are going to get the same treatment, but the rest of the army is pretty much all done now, and they look brilliant. The mat shines through from underneath as well, so it just gives a really cool effect. But anyway, enough waffling, on to the battle. Turn 1, a little bit of sniping damage and weakness on my half-breeds, and then the lightning bolt from the Mind Screech did no damage on my grotesques, but from up here, weakness cast on the on the gargoyles, 2 wounds and weakened them, and then Gordon rolled a 10 and 11, so the gargoyles in the first game are gone. In response, I think I may have got my half-breeds too far forward. I hexed that guy and I put 1 wound on that guy. So on to Gordon's turn 2. Just before we do move on to turn 2, let's just see where things are lying at the end of turn 1. Gargoyles got splattered from the crone up here. Height 3 plus 2 equals 5. 4 is not high enough, so the crone could see over and hit the gargoyles. Yeah, I've kind of advanced on a broad front. I was going to put the half breeds behind the Abyssal Dwarfs, but in the end I decided at the very last minute to actually throw them past them. And what that meant is I'm actually in charge range of these guys and these guys. And I just told Gordon, oh, it's not going to be like last game. You're not going to do a massive charge on turn 2. And I'd put the hunting dogs in front of the decimators. They didn't have any targets. Either did my 2 spellcasters. I think my Hellfane had done some pew-pews with his ranged attack. But the other area where I really screwed up is I asked Gordon how far his impalers move. He told me 10 inches plus a D3 charge. I also asked how far the butchers move, 12 inches. Somehow I got those 2 round the wrong way. So I measured and I was 12.5 inches away from these guys. I thought, right, I'm sorted. I'm out of their charge range. But actually, I was taking the numbers he'd just given me for the butchers. So that was a massive mistake on my behalf, because instead of being just out of charge range, I was just in their charge range if they roll well on their charge dice. Let's have a look, see whether or not my little mismeasurement comes back to bite me. Spoiler alert, as you can see here, Gordon wasn't going to turn down the opportunity for a double impaler charge. And just to rub salt into the proverbial wound, that D6 there is a 6 for the charge range of these ones. This is a 6 for the charge range of those ones. So they both were able to charge in at my grotesques. Bugger. But wait, there's more. As I just put these half-breeds into charge range, one of the Fleet Warden Hordes and the Void Lurker took that charge and hit the half-breeds. It was all planned, I'm telling you. Okay, I got lucky on Gordon's turn 2. I miscalculated here, and the grotesques were just in range of Gordon rolled 5s and 6s for his wild charge, and he rolled 2 6s, and both units came in, did 12 wounds, but rolled a 4. So didn't wavered me, but I've got fury, so should have popped him. And this was a big one here. The winged, what's them call it, and the Fleet Wardens. The Fleet Wardens only got 5 hits out of their 30 dice, or 5 wounds. They really underperformed it. Only 3 because the other flying guy was hindered. So he should have destroyed them. They're both still in the game. And over here, he's moved his champion soul blade guy to gunk up my half-breed. So onto my turn. Oh, weakness here on my grotesques. My turn 2. And just before we do head to my turn 2, so the soul bane, 8 wounds on those half-breeds. Weakness on the grotesques from the crone over here. Those are checking out the angles for possible attacks. This was a big combat here, and the Fleet Wardens really whiffed, so only ended up taking 8 wounds. Should have died there, and also got very lucky with the grotesques against the 2 units of impalers. They are wavered, but with 12 wounds, thanks to a very low nerve test there. So yeah, I am going to have to come up with a very cunning plan already. That sounds familiar. Bit of a topsy-turvy turn 2 for me. Didn't get the nerve check on the foul, what's it, a soul bane. Over here, I've got about 3 wounds with the black souls. I got 24 attacks and did about 18 wounds altogether between the Hellfane and the dogs came in, and we wavered the big mob, 1 short, I think, or 2 short of maybe getting rid of them, and the half-breeds rolled really well, 11 wounds against the flying whatever it is, and Void Lurker, and have wavered that.
But over here, these grotesques got 1 wound against the impalers, I think they are. Yes. Defense 6 from the front. I missed wounding on 9 out of 10 dice needing 4+. That was a bit unfortunate, but kind of evened out further down the line, and they had support from that guy as well. So there's room to make some advances through open flanks and things on Gordon's turn 3.
Right, so these guys closed the door against the grotesques. I had taken off 4 wounds, regenerated in my turn, and the Void Lurker, I think, is going to attack the half-breeds. That shows that they've been hit by another weakness, but I had got 1 back, and I cast weakness here myself in my turn. Finally using weakness and hex spells against the infamous Twilight Kin spellcasters.
Okay, turn 3, take 2. Gordon has killed the half-breed, the grotesques and the half-breed champion over here. He was wavered through the middle. The butchers and the fleet wardens have just killed the black souls. The fleet wardens have retreated. Over here, he killed the half-breed champion and advanced through with the butchers. Did about another 5 or 6 wounds, but only rolled about a 3 or 4, so hasn't wavered or destroyed the half-breeds, and they had no nerve inspiring nearby. So in a bit of trouble here. I've lost about 5 units by the looks of it. See if I can claw a couple back on turn 3. We just realised we forgot to add a couple of weaknesses. The half-breeds took out the flyer, the Void Lurker. We don't think it would have made too much of a difference because it would have been wounding on 4s.
I was on 11 anyway.
Yeah. And same over here. My grotesque was a flank charge into the butchers. They did about 16 before we remembered, but I hadn't actually done the dice for the half-breed, so we don't think that one would have been too much of an issue. Over here, the decimators charged in and did a massive 3 wounds against the butchers, unfortunately. Lots of misses, and I killed the other fleet warden. So got a couple of units back. Over here, very underwhelming fireball. Did 1? No, I think it might have even... No. I only got 3 hits out of 18 needing 4s, and it was actually a weakness that did the 1 wound over there, so that was a bit disappointing. But Gordon's turn 4, we'll see what he can do from here. Disaster from the Abyssal Dwarfs' point of view. The Impalers have killed the half-breeds. I have lost... The dogs got weakened and ran off. I rolled 9 twice, which was unfortunate because I was lining up that spellcaster. I thought I had a chance of killing him and overrunning and grabbing an objective, but not to be. Over here, the decimators got absolutely decimated by the Soulbane. Soulbane got 12 attacks and about 10 wounds, and the butchers, bit underwhelming, but they still had the other champion character come in to help, and between them they just slaughtered the decimators. So I've got next to no unit strength left, and there are some angry Twilight Kin trying to take back their homeland. So on to my turn 4. See if I can get a couple of units back. Not looking likely.
Okay, as you can see, I've still got the grotesques here. I've got some half-breeds, and I've still got the Hellfane, but this flank is well and truly collapsed. There's nothing left but a couple of spellcasters. There's not a great deal left on this side either. Not looking very promising at this stage, I would have to say.
My turn 4. The fireball a bit underwhelming again. I managed to put with a no. Actually, I did no damage with the stealthy fireball. Oh, he's got stealthy, but I hexed him and put one wound on him with that. And just the double flank charge over here into the butchers is all I killed. And I tried to turn my Hellfane so that it's facing 2 units as we head on to turn 5 for the Twilight Kin, who have things pretty much controlled, I think.
Okay, so what have we got here? We've got a combination charge of Impalers and the last horde of Fleet Wardens. They've got 30 attacks. They've got 18 on defense 6, but these guys are both crushing 1, I think, so not likely to survive there. Soulbane has just repositioned, I think, and there's someone saying 12 there, so maybe he's just run down the half-breeds. Now this is a really clever move here. That's that little champion. He's just charged into the grotesques just to slow them up. If he does a wound, and because he's mighty, the grotesque can't charge through. They really want to come through and charge, ideally the impalers, or maybe even those guys. The Hellfane's not likely to last. These guys really are my last unit strength. These guys have just repositioned just in case. And there's another weakness casting crone over here. Out of sight over here, the Mind Screechers claimed one of the loot counters or objectives off screen there as well. So just trying to claw back a couple of points if I can.
Bring out your dead. I got very lucky. The Hellfane survived with a nerve check reroll because he inspires himself. And it rolls at 6 on the second time. The Soulbane killed the half-breeds. 2 weakness spells, neither did any wounds, but the Soulbane didn't end up needing them. 3 wounds from the little character here against those guys. So I'm really pushing crap uphill to get a point at this stage at my turn 5. Turn 6, the fireballs with the weakness killed an unwounded unit of impalers, which was very impressive. Rolled a 9 on the nerve check after doing 10 wounds. The Hellfang couldn't really do any damage to those guys there, but tried. Oh, they did 5 wounds or something. And I only did 3 wounds with the grotesques and failed the nerve check with the reroll against the character there. So Gordon's turn 6, well and truly controlling things. See if he can finish off my last couple of units. Gordon tried blasting with his weakness as my spellcaster because he can, and lightning bolt weakened him. The Hellfane got smashed. We just double won it and failed, and a few wounds over here. So really, I have no chance of getting any points, just a moral victory by killing something. Turn 6, the grotesque killed the champion and then killed the Soulbane for a bit of a moral. It's not all one way, but I've got 3 unit strength versus 7, but Gordon has captured all his objectives, so his turn 7 to see what he can do.
The grotesques died, leaving Gordon in charge of the battlefield. I've got, just out of sight over here, I've got my 2 spellcasters. They've got no unit strength, and their spells didn't really do anything useful in the last turn. So comprehensive 4-0 victory to the Twilight Kin. Great game though. As you saw, I made a couple of really serious movement and measurement errors on my turn 1, and just as he did last week, Gordon just absolutely jumped on them. Both of us had some dice rolls go our way. We had some dice rolls that didn't go our way. I think I probably got the better end of the deal on those, and that actually meant that I had a couple of things left on turn 7. If Gordon had been a wee bit more lucky with his nerve checks on turn 2, it could have been all over by turn 5 really. Good game though. I learned a lot from it as always, and really took a couple of lessons away around deployment. The gargoyles, as you saw Gordon's Mind Screech, that's what I need to do if I use the gargoyles. I'm still not sold on gargoyles. I know they're the best chaff in the game apparently, with their movement, but someone like Gordon that knows what they're doing is just going to look for the opportunities to just ping them away because they've got really low nerve. A couple of lightning bolts from a Mind Screech, or I think his weakness spells cause damage, so even that is likely to be enough just to tip them over. So I'm humming and hawing between the gargoyles and the Mastiff hunting pack. I like the Mastiffs. They've got a slightly higher nerve. I can run them in front of my Abyssal Dwarfs, and I like the fact that I can give them the throwing dogs to give them a bit of a ranged attack. They haven't got the mobility, they haven't got nimble, they do have drawbacks. Maybe it's one of each, maybe it's two of one of the other, just messing around with different things. I really liked this game though, as you saw, the way that Gordon used his champion. Don't think it was that one. I think that's one of his crones. But to just charge in, chaff up a unit of grotesques with a 100-point character, and the Soulbane as well. Soulbane was used really well out wide, and then just threaten the flanks. And when he's coming in with 14 attacks from a flank, he's really quite hard to handle as well. Maybe I need to consider the grotesque champion because he can do a similar role, though not quite as fast and agile as the Soulbane. But I thought that was really good use of characters to chaff up dangerous units, and that meant that Gordon was then able to deal with the grotesque in his own sweet time because he actually slowed it up for 2 turns. I needed them to get over here sooner. He sent the character in. I failed to kill it. That gave him another turn, and by the time I did come through, he was well and truly positioned to deal with me. So yeah, good play from Gordon. So as I said, I took a lot away from this one. I usually do. As I said at the beginning, these bases are brilliant, aren't they? This view really shows. You can see the stuff from the actual gaming mat underneath just shining through as well. So he's done a brilliant job. I've never seen bases quite like these ones from anyone else, and yeah, it really just suits the theme of his Twilight Kin very, very nicely. Anyway, that's all for this week. Hope you enjoyed that. The Abyssal Dwarfs are going back to regroup, and hopefully we will have another game next week and see if I can come up with some better tactics early on to not give the initiative to Gordon quite so comprehensively. We will see. But if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, ka kite anō. Take care. Have a great week.